The densely growing vines and choking trees that make up the jungles of the equator are likely one of the least understood regions of the Earth, second only to the ocean. Although the uncertainty of the contents of the jungle leads some to believe that it conceals ominous and otherworldly secrets, most of the mysteries within are simply fantastical occurrences that have yet to be discovered. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be taking a look at jungle discoveries and the awesome secrets contained within the depths. The Ape Man of the Amazon. In 2012, a series of photographs circulated throughout the internet and became an instant viral mystery. These photos showcased an ape man that was discovered in the Brazilian jungle. In the 1930s, a Dutch magazine featured these pictures and described the man as the missing link. It gained a little attention when it was published in 1937, but reached the entire world when it resurfaced in 2012. Millions of people saw the pictures on Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit and began coming up with their own theories and speculations. Online users were intent on figuring out the mystery and proving it to be a hoax. Some were eager to believe it to be true, while others argued it was merely prosthetics and makeup that changed the man's face. The man in question was bent over as if he were walking like a monkey and had ape-like lips and a deep-set brow. His nose and ears were larger than most people, and in every photo he held his hands in fists, closing the knuckles. Scientists, historians, and online observers were quick to critique the pictures and point out obvious flaws in the hoax. Although the magazine claimed the man was a wild creature caught in the Amazonian jungle and was closely related to apes, he was surprisingly hairless. His face was clean-shaven and his hair neatly cut. Many also noted how poorly the prosthetics and makeup were applied to his face. You can see a faint line from the nose to the chin that connects the pieces and holds them in place. Critics claimed that his hair lay over his forehead to cover the prosthetics and blend in the makeup. Some claim that the most likely explanation for these photos is that the man was born with congenital disabilities and made to wear the prosthetics. Individuals born with defects were treated as outcasts and freaks during this period, so whoever planned these pictures probably exploited him to pretend to be an ape man. While most dismissed this picture as a fake, many people believe in ape-like creatures that you can only find in remote and hidden areas. Sasquatch in North America and the Yeti in the Himalayas have garnered attention and followers for decades, prompting many to explore the wilderness, searching for them. There is even a mythic ape-like beast that supposedly lives in the remote woods of Australia. The Aboriginals call it the Yowie and claim it reaches 5 feet in height. There will always be hope for finding the missing link in human evolution, and since there are so many areas of the world still unexplored, there will always be people searching for it. Azo Basu, the Ape Man of Morocco. The man who became known to many as Azo Basu, or the Ape Man of Dadis, quickly became a tabloid sensation. Azo has since become one of the best-known ape man cases in recent history, appearing in travel and adventure magazines. Some tabloids even named him the missing link between the Neanderthals and modern humans. He was found to be living in the valley of Dadis, near the town of Skora in Morocco during the 1930s. Azo has since become surrounded by speculation. Though it's widely thought he suffered from a type of microcephaly, his origins have become a story of legend. One of the most common is that Azo was an ape-human hybrid. It was first thought that a human had mated with a species of ape, which then resulted in the creation of Azo. His characteristics resembled that of an ape and not of a human, with a clear mental deformity. He lived in a cave, fed on dates, berries, and other dead animals, and used primitive tools while communicating via grunts, rather than any known human language. His forehead was sunken, and his arms were long, almost down to his knees. In 1956, the French writer Jean Boulet, alongside ethnologist Marcel Gomez, went to study the case of the Moroccan ape man. While they studied him, Azo unfortunately died at 60 years of age, but his alleged sisters, Hissa and Hakaya, lived on. Scientists concluded that the three siblings suffered from a case of microcephaly, but their cases are still widely speculated. The disappearance of Bruno Manza. On May 25, 2000, Swiss environmentalist Bruno Manza disappeared in the Borneo forests and has never been seen since. He was declared legally deceased 5 years later, as there was no sign or evidence of him found. He was 45 at the time and had spent the past 10 years fighting the Malaysian government and logging companies on behalf of the Penan, the indigenous jungle nomads of Borneo. Manza wanted to live a life without consumerism, capitalism, and technological advancements. As a young adult, he refused the Swiss military draft and served a few months in jail. He then moved to the Alps to work as a cow and sheep herder and learned how to make his own tools and food. He became enchanted with this type of simple living. Switzerland was not enough for him, so at 30 years old, he travelled to Borneo. He soon learned about the Penan nomadic tribes and decided to try and find them and live with them. After searching the dense Sarawak jungle in Malaysia, he finally came in contact with them in May 1984. After some time, the Penan accepted his presence and he began to learn their language and culture. He grew out his hair into their traditional mullet, wore a loincloth, walked barefoot, and even hunted with a blow dart. The Penan nicknamed him Laki Penan, which means Penan Man. They respected him and considered him one of their own. The politics in Borneo grew more complicated and aggressive, as the government backed the logging companies who were destroying the forests and desecrating sacred lands. The deforestation contaminated their drinking water, significantly reduced the vegetation and game, and limited the tribe in their movements. Manza began to work alongside the Penan in their attempts to thwart the loggers. Over the next decade, he would go back almost every year to visit the tribe, usually by illegally crossing the border out of Indonesia to get to them, and would assist them in their battle with the loggers. He travelled the world and held lectures, protests, and strikes to garner attention to the Penan's plight. He set up a fund to give aid to the indigenous people in the forest, and the cause eventually gained notoriety around the world. Politicians and leaders around the world condemned the deforestation, which angered the Malaysian government. They denied him entry and put a bounty on his head when he swam across the border at night. He was enemy number one of the state and escaped capture numerous times by using a fake passport and changing his appearance, running away while an officer was distracted, and using the rivers and forest undergrowth to hide. In February of 2000, Manza began his last trek to the Sarawak forest. He first travelled with the secretary of his fund, BMF, and a film crew. After a while, they left, and he continued with a different friend for a few weeks until they arrived at the Sarawak-Kalimantan border. Manza, aided by a local guide, crossed the border on the 22nd of May. The last known sighting of him was on May 25th, when a local Penan and his son journeyed with him to the mountain Bukit Batu Lawi. Manza intended to ascend the mountain alone. Searches and expeditions were conducted by Penan teams and members of the BMF, but to no avail. There were conspiracies that the Malaysian government ended his life, but those close to him believe he either fell down the mountain or took his own life. After his disappearance, he was awarded the International Society for Human Rights Prize and had a new species of goblin spider named after him. 10 years after his disappearance, a memorial service was held in Basel, Switzerland, to which 500 people attended. There have been films and books made about his story. Raised by monkeys. In this part, we'll be learning about the infamous tale of Marina Chapman, the woman who was raised by a group of capuchin monkeys. Due to the nature of the story, not much is known about Mrs. Chapman. Born in Colombia around the year 1950, Marina Chapman had a childhood very different to most people. According to Chapman's own testimony, at a very young age, she was mysteriously taken from her village, which she was too young to know the name of, before being abandoned for an unknown reason in the jungle of Colombia. Being a small, vulnerable child, Chapman states that she then spent the next number of years in the company of a colony of capuchin monkeys, a small species of monkey found all across Central and South America. The monkeys apparently took a liking to Marina, as she stated that they looked after her and managed to lead her to safety for what she estimates was a total of 5 years spent in the jungle. Eventually, Marina was found by a group of hunters in the Colombian jungle and was once again brought back into civilization. Again, according to Chapman, at this point she was unable to speak any human language, and she fell into a series of problems as she re-entered human society. Marina claims that she was eventually sold and became homeless and lived on the street, and at one point, Marina states she was taken in by a mafia family as a slave. But Marina Chapman's life took a fortunate turn for the better as she got older. Neighbor and friend Maruja, her daughter Maria, adopted the young girl when she was roughly 14 years old. Marina had finally become part of a family. The newly formed family unit, with connections to the city of Bradford in the UK, moved over to the green and pleasant land in 1977. Once there, Chapman became a nanny and has lived in Bradford since 1983. Whilst this is an amazing tale, there's still some ambiguity about Marina's story. Since there is nobody to verify the woman's tale, we have no concrete way of proving whether what she says is true or false. Regardless, the story of a young girl rescued by a family of small monkeys has proven to be so fascinating that National Geographic produced a documentary film about Maria named Woman Raised by Monkeys in 2013. Lost Mountain Temple discovered in Thai jungle. Within the Nakhon Sai Thammarat province, an ancient structure estimated as being thousands of years old has been uncovered. Historian Phum Iradejwong announced this exciting revelation online, explaining that he and his team, who he had dubbed Explorers of the City of Mountains, discovered a series of stone structures, relics, and a rock. Phum explained that he and his explorers first heard whispers and rumours of the settlement existing in 2017, though it took until late 2019 to team up with locals who are accurately considered to be experts of the field. The groups weaved through the jungle until they reached a mountain platform, surrounded by stone walls and piles of rocks. It was also concluded that this site, which was only recently discovered, shared construction and architectural similarities with ruins nearby that had used modern dating techniques to estimate that they had been built in the 6th century BC. Historians believe that it was throughout the late 1st and early 2nd millennium BC that migration began to occur, when the early people who had established homes within the mainland of Southeast Asia then expanded their living areas as society progressed into the Iron Age. This area was certainly not landlocked, having oceans on either side. This was hugely beneficial regarding the maritime trade, largely between the east and west, which again encouraged more people to move. This area of land, since 500 BC, is believed to have been a key production spot for creating jewellery, fashioned from tin and materials accessible from the forest. This, alongside the distribution of bronze drums, has led archaeologists to believe that the Isthmian Tract was an established part of the communities living by the Gulf of Siam. A report published outlines the production here and the believed association of these neighbourhoods with the Lost Temple. Another curious point in this discovery was the series of stone structures. Nakhon Sai Thammarat is one of the most respected cities in Thailand. It has hundreds of buildings and ruins with great historical value, making this ancient city a key historical source. It is believed that this stone structure is a point of worship, linking to the king of Srivijaya, who had a strong influence on the Malay Peninsula. This connection of worship and the king is extended as he established a sanctuary dedicated to Buddha and the bodhisattvas Padmapani and Vajrapani, making his role and authority even greater. So far, according to Phum, an estimated 5% of this newly revealed site has been seen and explored, leaving plenty more discoveries to be found in the future. Despite so little of it having been seen, there is a believed connection between this new temple and the Khao ancient remains. These remains are in Nakhon Si Thammarat and is one of the biggest and grandest Hindu temples within the south of Thailand. The driving point behind this inspired connection is the cultural link between the Khao temple and this lost temple is the archaeologist's discovery of stone bowls at the site, as well as Shiva Lingam. These items correlate with the nature of worship, suggesting this was carried out here too, as both sites feature this stone structure. After Phum and his team made the discovery, park rangers and local authorities were alerted. Progress has been halted, as the site cannot be dated until the remainder of the rainforest area has been thoroughly searched. This Khao archaeological site is a fantastic visit, a place of worship that is open to visitors. Attempts to uncover the secrets and mysteries of the jungles will certainly outlast our lifetimes, potentially being a mission that we never accomplish. The exciting animals and speculated creatures have a home that keeps them out of the spotlight. Though with advancing research methodology, we become more and more likely to stumble across something new each day. What could be the next discovery pulled from a jungle? But what do you make of these jungle discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.